Good to see you, buddy. You know, it created quite a buzz when the golf world found out that Tiger was on the course a couple of weeks ago with you. How did this practice round come together? Tiger text you? Did one of his buddies tell you? Like, how did it even happen?
Well, we got a call from the PGA just saying that Tiger and his team would like to come down and get a look at the golf course and the changes that Gil Hanse and Jim Wagner and their crew made a few years back, and they connected us with his group and needed a couple of caddies because and you know, I offered it up. I didn't realize the wake that was going to be behind all of that. I should have, I guess, but yeah, it caused quite a buzz from the moment well, actually, not even before he'd landed, I guess, while he was in the air. And then, of course, when he touched down and all the way through the round, and he left here looking like Elvis heading off the stage.
What was it like being out there with him, Cary? And what kind of sense did you get from the information he wanted to get out of the day?
Well, you know, as just a fan and a golfer, it was pretty surreal just to watch it. You know, from that viewpoint right there for 18 holes, somebody that, you know, we all admire for his accomplishments, but probably more so for his grit and will to compete and the heart that he's shown over the course of his career, you know, specifically the last few years. So that part from just my standpoint was really just amazing to watch. Very inquisitive about the changes. He remembered all of the golf course, every club he hit, it seemed like, from 07. And just was asking what had changed on certain holes, and you could tell his recollection from 15 years ago was perfect. He seemed to enjoy the changes. Thinks it's a little bit more of got to be a little more precise, maybe coming into the greens. Probably a little bit. He didn't say this, but in my case, just my opinion, it's a little bit maybe easier driving golf course than it was back then. But have to be a little more precise with the approach shots as you come in. The edges of the greens. Much more crown. Got the Maxwell rolls back that were established with the restoration work, and it's closely mown almost in every area around the green. So balls that you know, sometimes missed by a pace or two, just off the green, can now be 10 yards, 20 yards, even 50 yards away from the hole around a lot of these greens.
Cary, you've been around a lot of great players in your time. After spending that time with Tiger, what makes him different in terms of how he sees the game?
Well, you know, I probably concentrated better watching him play than I have in a round of my own for the past 10 years. I really just zoned in on every mechanic, how he's setting up. You know, I really wanted to watch and appreciate what he does. His ability, I think the thing that he does, and you guys know this better than I do, just his ability to focus and kind of block out everything around him. Probably out of necessity based on what follows him around is really remarkable. Even on a casual practice round day, you know, our clubhouse was still open. The golf course had been closed. So there was a number of members that had come out for lunch. Probably a few of them came out for lunch impromptu after they saw the social media posts of his landing in Tulsa. But I think his ability just to block it all out and hit shots is remarkable.
And Cary, obviously Tiger wanted to do some reconnaissance on the trip ahead of the PGA Championship, but there was also the assumption that he was physically testing himself in terms of his ability to compete over 4 days. Did you get any sense of how he was physically, how the walk taxed him during the course of that round?
You know, he didn't. I think the walk is a little bit easier here than it is at Augusta National. And, you know, so he went through 4 days. We all watched, you know, on every move that he made at Augusta. He seemed like he was tired or maybe laboring a little bit more as he went on through that over the weekend. He didn't say anything about it, didn't mention anything, but he certainly looks like it hurts just to walk. So it's remarkable that he's out here even trying, and it doesn't look like it hurts when he hits a shot, though. That was something that was pretty evident. He hits shots, it's great to watch. Everything he did was really, really good and spot on. But then his walks, it certainly looks like he's in pain. But again, he didn't mention that, or he didn't say anything. It certainly didn't say it to me.
Cary, after seeing him up close, why can he win or why can't he win?
Well, from the golf shot standpoint, he can certainly hit all the shots required. I'm sure he's not the longest any longer, but compared to some of the younger guys, he's, even at 46, he hits it out there pretty good, really good ways, and he just hits it solid every single time. The guy in charge of cleaning his clubs, that's about the only thing good I did the entire day was probably keep his clubs clean. And it didn't have to do much. It's just right in the middle. It looked like about a dime size on every shot he hit, including bunker shots and pitch shots. So it was he can certainly hit the shots. I think probably the physical side of it, can he go 4 days with a few days of practice prior to that and compete? Because as you guys know, it's taxing just as a healthy person to play 4 days of competitive golf and then a few days of practice leading up to that. So that would probably be I'm on his camp, and I was well before I caddied for him. I think he could do anything, and I thought he'd win again when he won again at 19 with the Masters and the Tour Championship the previous fall. So I wouldn't put him out of anything. If there's one person we shouldn't count out, it's Tiger Woods.
Well, some of the guys he's going to have to work his way past, Cary, have also been in town in Tulsa over the last few days. Scotty Scheffler was there with his buddy Ryan Palmer, Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth. Have those guys been knocking on your door as well, looking for some insight to the golf course?
Excuse me. I did walk. We've had a number of players. Wills Outdoors came in the winter when we were, pretty much khaki wall to wall, and played in January. Patrick Reed came in for he worked his tail off for 2 days. Especially worked hard on the greens and kind of getting his sight lines down. And then as mentioned, Scotty Scheffler and Ryan Palmer were here last week. Spieth and Thomas yesterday. John Rahm was out yesterday and is out there right now as we speak playing. I went around the back nine with John. Spent all the time with Patrick as well when he was here. And Spieth and Tom JT looked like they had an entourage. So Bones was with him. He knew his way around the golf course, and one of our best caddies was with him as well. So that's pretty much. I'm not going to offer. I don't know what I can offer these guys other than maybe an angle or two here and there, or a whole location that you got to be careful with, because they see the golf course pretty easy for them.
Cary, we're blessed in this generation with fantastic 20-somethings on the PGA Tour, and yet Tiger shows up on a Monday at Augusta National, and it's like Woodstock. You called him Elvis. Are you surprised that at 46, with everything he's gone through, that all of a sudden more people are ordering club sandwiches on the veranda and Arnold Palmer's at Southern Hills, and it's just like time hasn't stood still?
Yeah, he's we've known this. I mean, he's got an aura about him, and he's just a transcendent, athlete and popular culture icon. I mean, it's really fun to watch, and it was neat to be inside that circle for a few hours, just to, again, as a golfer and a fan, just to watch how he does it. One of the things that just talking with some of the friends around here is that, he hits it through any window, and it doesn't look like he changes anything in his setup. I was just amazed by that. So I've been, if I had time to practice, that's what I'm going to practice on. How do I do that? But he certainly, and you hear the top players in the world, all the guys you just mentioned, that when he's on property, it's a different atmosphere, and he brings. It's just the energy is just different, and it's pretty cool to watch.
Cary, Tiger won at 8 under par. Alex Cejka won the senior PGA at 8 under par. Ray Floyd won at 8 under par 40 years ago in a PGA there. And Retief Goosen won at 4 under, which is the USGA's version of 8 under par in a US Open. What's your target number next week?
I'm just looking at the forecast. We had a lot of rain the past couple of weeks, or a few days ago, and we're drying out now, and it's warm and windy, and we're hoping that it stays warm and windy throughout the tournament. If it does, and it's not. Last couple of days have been really windy, so I think that would affect it. But assuming that it's a normal 10 to 15 mile an hour south wind and 85 degrees, and it doesn't, we're hoping for no rain. I'm going to say 6 to 10 under par. Kerry Haig obviously is tremendous at setting up a golf course, and knows he's going to be able to get the best out of the best players. We've had 7 professional majors in the past, and 31 people have ever finished under par. So. And it's 450 yards longer than the last time we had an event. So it certainly is a challenge, and when the wind gets up, it can really test you.
Well, Cary, I know next week will be a real quiet, sleepy, easy week for you. Your phone won't be ringing at all. Thanks so much for your time and reliving some of those moments with Tiger a couple weeks ago.
Good to be with you guys. Look forward to having you here next week.